different prep lists of produce prep that's keep this version that needs to be isolated from everything else.
Hey guys, Mr. Knife Fanatic here. Today we have the Itto Ryu hand-hammered 210mm Gyuto. This maker is known for having very well-made knives with a high level of fit and finish, and this knife is of no exception. So, as usual, here's the specs and cutting performance. We have Shiragami number 2 or Hitachi White number 2 at the core at 61 Rockwell. This steel sharpens very easy. I actually just sharpened it on a Sharpened 500 and a natural Itto stone. Has a very nice edge. I did not need to deburr it at all, and it will take a very steep edge as well. The sashimi finish or hand-hammered finish is very attractive on this knife. At the price point, I doubt you will find anything finer as far as fit and finish on a blade goes. This is very smooth. This is very hard. This is not going to come off like a normal Koruchi finish. And just overall, I believe food release is going to be very good on this blade. I have not cut anything with it yet, but we will shortly. There is an oval handle that is made of chestnut wood. This is a very warm feel in your hand. It is a medium-sized handle. It's very good for people with medium hands, and even larger hands will be good. This is a resin ferrule. It's going to be very moisture resistant, so no trouble there with fit and finish at all. And as you can see, everything is nice and tight. There is a slight gap here, and this is actually very common on all chestnut handles I have seen. I have not seen a chestnut handle that does not have that little bit of a gap there. It's just something all different makers with chestnut handles do that. So, very common, but it is very comfy in the hand, very warm, and good for left and right hand users. Blade is advertised as 210 millimeters long. It is exactly that long on the edge. 49 to 50 millimeters tall. It's really 49 and a half. I left my ruler somewhere else, can't use it right now, but I will say that is a little bit on the tall side for a 210. I'm going to call that medium tall, not too tall, because we have used blades over 50 millimeters recently, namely Takeda's. And this is actually the height that I prefer. Thickness is 3+ coming out of the tang. Actually, maybe even close to 4 millimeters, believe it or not. It is extremely thick directly out of the tang here. But it tapers down into, I would say, about 3 millimeters here. You're getting to 2.5 millimeters about here, and then you get down to 2 millimeters here. And as you get into the grind of the knife, of course, it gets very thin. It is actually very thin behind the edge, and the tip here, if you can see, kind of give you an idea of how thin we're dealing with. It gets very thin. 169 grams. I'm just going to call this directly a medium weight. It has a medium feel, a medium action in the hand, and I expect this to perform very much like a very good cutting workhorse. I think this is going to do very well. Balance point, definitely going to be a little blade heavy, and that's exactly what we want. Helps with cutting. As you can see there, slightly in front of where your pinch grip is going to go. So you still have good chopping power and a pinch. Oh, another note here I'd like to make too about the spine is very nice and rounded. You do not see this on all makers. I would like to see more makers do this. And actually the choil and maki here are eased as well. So it's very nice fit and finish. Very high level fit and finish on this knife. Grind 50/50 convex. The upper part of this, where it is hand hammered, I will say is closer to flat, but it gets into a very nice convex as we get into the face of this grind here, where the cladding meets the core steel. This was done exceptionally smooth. Very nice finish on this, and it actually gets really nice and thin behind the edge. As you can see, it looks a little bit like a Scandi grind, but it's actually convex. I've checked it enough times, and it was done very well. There's a very stiff feel to this knife. It feels very well made, exceptionally well made. I would dare to say an older blacksmith constructed this knife. I have no idea. If it was a younger blacksmith that made this, I will say he did a very good job. But so guys, here we are. I have a whole slew of onions to take care of. See how the cutting performance is. Weren't expecting this many onions today, were we? I got a few more down there too. So let's go ahead and get to it. I need a little bowl here. Put the ingredients in. Now, I expect this to do very well. As I said, the convex was done perfectly on this knife. right now, at the price point of this knife, you are not going to find anything close to this level of fit and finish on a blade. It's just incredible fit and finish at this price point. Great grind. I can't wait to see how it does. Flips right through like nothing. This is a very sharp edge. I did put the out-of-the-box edge, was very good. I just wanted to see how it would sharpen, and it sharpens up very nicely. Wow. You can see she slides in and out of there with no fuss at all. I'm doing a very, very fine dice too. If you can see, you almost never really dice this thin. So just to give you an idea, yes, the spine is a little bit thicker than your average bear on the website, but the grind was done perfect, and as well, that makes it perform very nice. Just pushing straight down. No trouble at all. I really love the feel of this knife. It feels a little bit more like a workhorse. Very warm feel in your hand, and when you're chopping on the board, there is a very cushioned feel, and I don't mean that in a bad way. There are some knives that don't directly translate what is happening on the board into your hand. Mono steel knives tend to be better at this. Clad knives tend to lose a little bit of feeling. This is a very minute thing. You're not really going to notice if you don't use a lot of these knives, but the feeling from the board to the hand is very direct. Feels like a mono steel knife. Feels like a very, very well-made knife. But I believe the chestnut handle really absorbs a lot of that shock, so it's a very, feels like a Cadillac in a way when you're chopping. It's really, really sure-footed. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and blow through some onions, get the show on the road. Wow. Medium dice right there, no problem at all. Now, something to be noted about the last Itto Ryu knives that we had on the website were forged using, I believe it was an old iron from ship anchors, or it was basically very like 100-year-old iron they used for these, and it made a really nice pattern. I'm not sure what was used to forge this. Currently on the website it does not say if this is a stainless cladding or not. Most of the makers that have been coming on to chef knives to go lately have been using a stainless cladding. I'm going to leave the onion juice on the knife to see about reactivity, so we shall see in a little bit. And let's say we'll do a little bit of rocking. As you can see, there is a bit of a sweet spot here. This is only a 210 and has a very nice amount of a sweet spot here. You can really chop from anywhere from here to here with no trouble. Again, you want that gentle sweep so you don't dig the heel when you chop. And there's a lot of belly here for your Western user fans. This actually gets a lot higher. This gets 4 inches off the board, I dare to say, which is a lot higher than most of your Japanese knives are going to do. So for a 210, that is great height to get over ingredients if you prefer to do rock cuts, such as that. We'll go ahead and do one more rock cut onion for you, and then I'll get into chopping the last few and wrap the video up. Just nice and flip right through. So easy. It's a lazy day to cut, right? Rainy day outside, get some ingredients on the board and do some cooking. Food release is very nice. As you can see, nothing really sticks to the Karuchi finish here. I don't know if you call this Karuchi, it is kind of black. I use that as a general term for these blacksmith type finishes. We are going to look for the correct term, I'm sure, eventually and figure out exactly what that's called. But for now, we'll refer to it as the smooth Karuchi. Do some chopped onions. Again, this is a little bit taller here. Pinch grip. She chops very well. As So you have a very toothy edge on here. It is, wow, it's holding that edge incredibly well. This knife sharpened up extremely fast, as I say again. I did not need to deburr it while I was sharpening. That's one of the benefits of white steel over blue. Blue, you tend to not really have to deburr so hard still, but white sharpens a lot faster, refines a lot faster, and this still holds an edge very well. I mean, I'm putting a little punishment down. What I love about these medium weight workhorses that just cut so well when they're thin behind the edge and they were ground properly, and you can see I can get all these thin cuts here at high speed. There's no wedging, there's no sticking, and I still have so much spine that this thing is just a, you know, feels like much more more substantial of a knife. This is a monster, you know, and it performs like a little bit lighter weight than it really is. I like that a lot. Just pushes right down, right through, no trouble. No arguments there. So guys, this is definitely a blade to look at if you are into hand-hammered knives right now. I've handled quite a few of them, and like I said, yet again, exceptional level of fit and finish on this knife. They took the time to round everything out nice. It's very smooth. This grind was done perfectly smooth. And hey, just as a quick added note, I do believe I may see a little bit of patina forming here, so we're going to assume this may not be a stainless clad knife like the other Itto Ryu knives. I do believe there's a little bit of patina there. So anyhow, reactivity level is still very low. I went through all those onions without really wiping it, and I don't see much forming on the edge. Very well forged and tempered steel. Extremely sharp still through all that pounding on the board. Hey, great knife, guys. Yet again, impressed. So Mark Richmond, please keep them coming. And as always, stay tuned and stay sharp.